Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Monday, September 5th, 2022, a little after 3 p.m. Eastern. It's not easy to find happiness in ourselves and impossible to find it elsewhere. Agnes Repler. What if our main job in this life was to become so ridiculously happy that we contagiously made everyone else feel good by just hanging around? If this was our purpose in life, how would we start our day? What would we begin thinking about the moment we were awake? What would be the most important thing we started doing that made us feel lighter, freer, and alive with this life? When we choose an approach to this life that is brimming with reverence for ourselves and gratitude for life, we'll notice some wonderful side benefits arise. You magically start manifesting all sorts of abundant opportunities, experiences, and people. You become a powerful manifesting magnet because everyone wants to know the secret practices you're doing before breakfast. When you're in perpetual appreciation, you'll see almost everyone go out of their way just to be in your bubbly presence. By choosing to be authentically grateful for anything in your life, you will become absorbed by the deeper permanent river of perpetual happiness. This enlightened state is not about covering up, repressing, avoiding, or fixing any contracted emotions like sadness, frustration, guilt, desperation, and fear. They will always be there for you, waiting at that lower bandwidth when your life needs a deeper dimension of compassion and emotional depth. When they arrive, it's essential that you learn to appreciate them as well and welcome them in. Everlasting real happiness is a process of integrating the darkness of your mind with the lightness of your spiritual essence. From this whole space, you can feel happiness as your natural state because you are so relaxed about everything. Whatever arises, you are constantly welcoming the experience, allowing the negativity to merge with the positivity, and discovering real inner peace inside. It is a choice that you can make no matter what your current circumstances are like. In each moment of your day, no matter what is occurring in your outer world, you can welcome the darkness into the lightness and look for the real, deep, eternal love that is hidden deep in disguise. In every moment, we always have the option to appreciate something about ourselves, the world, or someone else. We can train our brain to see if the glass is half empty or half full, or both. Whatever we have or don't have in this life does not have to determine our current state of happiness. Whatever we have or don't have in this life does not have to determine our current state of happiness. We can simply choose to relax. Stop demanding that life be something other than what it already is, and be at peace with what is for no reason at all. Just because you are still alive and have the opportunity to love, this is enough. Be a dynamo of irrepressible joy. Be happy, Babaji. Happiness comes from opening yourself to life and choosing to take the risk to grow and expand instead of contracting and remaining small. It involves getting in touch with the energy inside your body that is flowing. The heart is still beating. The blood's still pumping. The breath's still inhaling and exhaling. Take a moment to experience this now. The longer you can enjoy it, the more you'll create a highly conscious and alive state. Just by breathing, you can feel so alive. And realize you are living inside a very amazing manifesting vehicle that has the natural-born power to attract and manifest anything you desire. Natural-born power. Now, this is something to get really happy about. It is proven that our thoughts create our reality. If you can choose to think only about what you want and never think about what you don't want, you'll manifest everything your heart ever dreamed of since childhood. But see, we have a tendency to veer over to what we don't want. Manifesting is simply put, moving energy into form, creating it into reality, and experiencing it. Manifesting your dream life all boils down to where you are placing your attention in each moment. What are you focusing on? Notice the first thought you start to think about in the morning. The very moment you realize you are awake. Is the choice maker alive inside you to choose any thought you wish? I highly suggest you practice noticing what you are focusing on for the first 3 minutes you are awake every morning this week. Just see for yourself where the mind tends to go. And if you can bring the mind to appreciate yourself just as you are, notice the deep love inside you. The sweet being who is worthy of receiving an abundance of love, cuddles, and gratitude from the community around you. Act happy, feel happy, be happy without a reason in the world. Then you can love and do what you will. Dan Millman. If you have trouble finding even a glimmer of joy inside of you, then regress back in time to the greatest experiences of happiness you can remember having in your life. Replay those past moments in your imagination and feel what that time in your life was like, as if it was happening to you right now. This is the great happiness secret. Perhaps when you were a child, you were simply running outside in the warm summer grass or playing in the sandbox with the sun shining on your back. Imagine you're feeling the healing warmth of that sun and feel the soft sand between your toes. Whatever happy memories you can find, let yourself bathe in these joyful times that are forever a part of you. Every child has at least one happy memory. Be thankful for each of these smiling memories and the good feelings to replay and enjoy. The more we can summon and feel into these happy memories, the more they'll ignite the blazing fire of joy hibernating inside of us. Practice daily, and soon you will find your most authentic, liberating expression pouring out into everyone, everywhere you go. Feeling happy simply creates more happiness. Once you're continuously vibrating at this level, the universe will reward you with even more satisfying experiences and people that build into even happier feelings and experiences. Dance when you are broken open. Dance if you've torn the bandage off. Dance in the middle of the fighting. Dance in your blood. Dance when you're perfectly free. Rumi. In other words, always dance to life. To find your life mission, start with recognizing that you are a spiritual being living in a material world. Your job is to realize this truth every day and all day long. Recognize that you are a spiritual being living in a material world. Our job is to realize this truth every day, all day long. Notice how you feel. Notice how you are the observer of your thoughts, so you cannot be your thoughts. When you're the observer of your thoughts, you cannot be your thoughts. You are the consciousness that is beyond this physical dimension of life. Find the source of your consciousness, and you will be free from all levels of unhappiness forever. Unhappy experiences manifest because the ego is running the show. Period. Unhappy experiences manifest because the ego is running the show. It is constantly demanding to be satisfied and avoiding being unsatisfied. This game is all about the ego's needs in each moment, where it's secretly attempting to be in control and not trusting in the soul and spiritual being that you are. You don't have to participate in this dramatic game anymore, as the ego will never be satisfied enough. Never, ever. The only thing that truly satisfies is knowing the spiritual truth of who you truly are. You are a spiritual being, an infinite soul, who is much bigger than any thought. You are going to exist even after this body and mind are dead and gone. Who you are is vast, limitless consciousness itself. By simply choosing to see that you are the witness behind all thoughts, you discover that you are already free from them. By simply choosing to see that you are the witness behind all thoughts, you discover that you are already free from them. Then you never demand that life or your mind has to be a certain way in order for you to be happy. You don't have to improve yourself, become a better person, or figure out any problems in your life to be happier. You can simply stop the mind, realize the truth of who and what you already are. This is enough. Once you remain aware that you are the very source of awareness itself, and that your soul will never die, you begin living the most amazing life you could possibly live. And as you practice each day, stepping into a greater spiritual experience of realizing the infinite soul you truly are, you stop playing that fear-based game of life and death. You realize that you have an infinite number of lifetimes to get it right and discover the joy of being alive. Once you understand that this is why you are here on this earth, you let go of the old, unsatisfying game and discover a much more advanced game, the exploration of how true, everlasting happiness follows you wherever you go. Life is a mystery to be lived, not a problem to be solved, Moshe. Would you like to know the greatest discovery to remaining in a perpetual state of happiness? This is a big one, so ground yourself here. The discovery is learning how to trust yourself and the universe so deeply that you can relax fully and remain completely present in this now moment. It is a discovery, learning how to trust yourself and the universe so deeply that you can relax fully and remain completely present in this now moment. No matter what activity you're engaged in, simply surrender to it. Perhaps you're doing dishes. Then you feel the warm water running over your hands and enjoy the experience of cleaning the plate. The more present you can be in whatever action you're doing, the more you'll be absorbed by the now moment, which is where all the gold is found. If and when you can remain only in the now, you will discover all the greatest secrets man is searching for around the world. Living each day in the present moment, you find out how easy it is to manifest anything you want. Things simply come to you easily, effortlessly, and even instantly in this physical world. Manifesting is much easier than you have imagined, especially when you are in the now and feeling full of radiant joy. You realize that happiness is your natural state of being, and it is always available in each new moment. Go confidently in the direction of your dreams. Live the life you imagine. Henry David Thoreau. How many of us truly know, without a doubt, that we are the sole creator of our reality? Our thoughts, feelings, beliefs, and vibrations determine what people, situations, events, experiences, and things are magnetized to us. Everything that we attract and manifest stems first from the inside and then manifests in the outer world. This process is the engine and fuel for our soul's awakening and evolution in consciousness. To begin liberating ourselves from survival mode, we must choose to realize that there are no coincidences or accidents in this universe. Every single thing that comes our way was created by us and meant for our awakening. Each person, event, manifestation is here to awaken us, bring us closer to our divine mission, and install a greater awareness of the sacred, all-powerful beings that we truly are. So one might be asking, you might be asking yourself, if we are such powerful beings, why don't we always manifest the positive thoughts, things, and experiences that we want? The answer to that is that your soul chose to be raised in a society by a family, parents, friends, teachers, and siblings who were not very conscious. These beings were not self-realized masters who did not fully trust themselves and thus never knew what ultimately was for everyone's highest good and spiritual path. Being born in that body, is born as an innocent child, you unknowingly adopted these unconscious self-sabotaging behaviors and replicated their internal disconnected feeling from your soul's divine, infinite, trusting nature. This is how you became wrapped up in the habit of thinking about what you do not want, and thus manifesting poverty, dis-ease, terror, and struggle in your life. The more time you spent dwelling on thinking about or resisting what you did not want, the more you found yourself attracting it and perpetuating its existence. This cycle is the most common block in the manifesting playground. The soul decided to create this complex fear-based pattern of survival, which forced it to explore the deepest, darkest trenches of your being. It's good to know that there is nothing wrong with this setup. As eternal souls, we each choose to temporarily forget our all-powerful infinite nature just so that we could experience the joy of returning home to it. Yet, with awareness of this divine setup, it now becomes our responsibility to bring the light into the darkness, the consciousness into the unconscious, and awaken from this sleepy old slumber. The pain and struggle that we experience is only meant to wake us up. It is part of the divine plan to force us to realize we are spiritual beings in disguise. Without this prison, we wouldn't know freedom from it. Without sleep, we would never know awakening. And without darkness, we would not appreciate how beautiful, loving, and bright the light truly is. If we didn't believe that death was coming to get us one day, then life wouldn't appear to be so sweet, sensitive, and divinely precious. The ironic thing about all of this is that once we step into the path of spiritual awakening, we don't need to continue living in survival mode. When we fully realize that we are eternal beings that cannot die, then there is nothing ever to fear again. We simply cannot set foot in fear when we are living this realization. The overlay of our physical existence is taken in as some great fantastic play, and nothing is taken too seriously. There is no desperate need to survive in this world because there is nobody who was born or could die. You realize that the soul that you are simply is ever present. The layers of our conditioning are many. And to truly transcend these survival patterns, it's vital that we understand its many levels and roots. The story may go something like this. From the day you were born, you instinctively knew how to breathe, eat, drink, poop, stay warm, and basically survive. These inherent survival instincts were basic desires you had, which were ingrained in your hardware, and were the most obvious actions you knew at birth. As you aged, the mind became emotionally programmed with others' thoughts of fear, grasping onto life, and the seriousness around surviving. Most likely, we were taught at a very early age about the great dangers of life. These included large moving vehicles, barking dogs, sharp knives, steep stairs, etc., which were all potentially life-threatening. This fear-based emotional environment attracted potential accidents and made every day successful if you didn't get injured or killed. As the newly programmed survival thinking matured in us, the threats began to change and translate into fears of losing love, money, health, job security, or social status. We discovered the world was filled with many people who struggled every day just to get by, and always scraped by with the bare bones minimum creeping along in survival mode. Perhaps you saw people in small villages living in grass huts with very little food and water, or hung over on dirty sidewalks in large cities, homeless with a begging bowl and a please help sign, or perhaps newly divorced, working long hours in several jobs with 5 kids, barely making enough money to make ends meet. Most likely, you were given the ideas and feelings to not want these types of situations, and this newly programmed survival instinct was installed into your adult emotional software, and it motivated you to try to become a successful, prosperous citizen of society. As you were introduced to these new fearful don't wants later in life, your mind started replicating the old survival mode chemical cocktail in your brain. It created a long list of things to do and experiences it must avoid, creating fearful feelings that would cause you to survive. The more you believed in and felt these people's emotional pain, internal challenge, and eternal stuckness and profound struggles to survive, the more intense became your living, breathing survival program. Each time your emotional body started to feel that one of those potentially fearful situations might manifest, such as being on the street if you didn't have the money to pay your rent. The synapses of the brain were flooded with adrenaline and motivated you from a fearful place to step into survival mode. In this modern day world, a certain level of fear-based survival instinct is necessary for us to remain alive. We would not be really here today if we didn't have the awareness to not step in front of a fast-moving bus. Yet the more we mature, the more we realize that there are many levels of survival consciousness. Some are healthy, while most of them are unhealthy for us. This is a fine line between healthy and unhealthy, and it is defined by if we react with tremendous fear to a life situation that is not life-threatening, meaning if we're present with a new life circumstance and respond with joy and creativity, or panic and fear, all depends on how deep we are in the game of survival mode. Imagine that you end up losing your job or take a road trip by yourself across the country, or move to a smaller apartment, pay a bill late, or perhaps cannot leave your country for fear of what you may experience in a foreign land. In each of these unique situations, a fear may arise in you, or a sensation of excitement and joy. Any time that fear becomes your reaction, and it's far greater than the adventure and excitement of trusting this life, then survival consciousness has taken over in the front burner of your life, and joy is on the back burner. If there is a fear-based motivation to avoid life and not explore and transcend our limitations or don't wants, then we have a wonderful mountain to summit and conquer. If we cannot embrace that which we are avoiding, then letting go of survival consciousness can seem like a perpetual challenge that does not end. Even when our primary physical needs are already met, we may notice the mind continually obsesses about surviving. You may not work hard. You may work hard and have enough to easily pay your bills, yet you may still feel like you can never do enough, be enough, or have enough to fully relax, rest deeply inside your being. There may be nothing you can do to stop trying to survive. The mind is always the culprit here and behaves a lot like a stubborn old mule who does not want to change its old rutted path. The truth, however, is that you are not your mind. You never were it. You are always and will always be the commander in charge behind it. You are always going to be the soul behind it all. No matter if you've been in survival mode for 100 years, you have still been evolving and growing in consciousness. You cannot stop the soul's evolutionary process. It is eternal. It just tends to seem to move at light speed when you realize one very important thing, that your body and mind are always deeply connected to an all-loving, intelligent, divinely magical universe source that forever provides your every need and desire. Deep down, you may have known this all along, yet it may have been against your society's belief systems to believe in this irrational spiritual paradigm. Survival thinking is deep, and the only way you can discover true freedom from this survival addiction is to deepen your spiritual path. The saboteurs inside the mind can get you hooked on the entertainment of living in survival mode. It can be very exciting to barely just get by, yet the spiritual aspect of your being has the power to transcend this pattern completely. By simply knowing deep in your heart that no matter what happens, you will always be okay. That your soul will survive forever, long after that body you are in is gone. You elevate your consciousness above survival thinking. When this spiritual realization is alive in your heart and softens into your bones, it will allow you to find the truth of who you truly are. An eternal soul that was never born, and can never die. The consistent daily realization of this understanding leads into the physical relaxation of the body and eventually the freedom from ever thinking there is someone to survive again. This deep experience of letting go takes us into the divine essence of our being, which is the key to uplifting our consciousness and transcending the worst survival mode addiction. Deep down inside our hearts, we already know that an all-loving, infinitely intelligent universe is at our beck and call and will provide for our every need. We unconsciously know this, some consciously, few, and how it provides for all the animals throughout this world, and that it will take care of this human animal that we are, too. When we are living every day in total spiritual awareness, we stop running so fast to win the rat race and begin understanding the biggest cosmic joke in the universe. The joke is that we are not a beggar and not just an affluent king, but the God source itself. We are the creator. We are the divine initiator and ultimate manifestors of everything that we could ever need, want, or desire forever and beyond. Remember, we choose to fall asleep and dream that we were some beggar craving to find a few coins in the gutters of our life, when in reality we are the owner of the castle on the hill, and beneath our property is the world's largest gold mine. Just because we've continued to temporarily forget our true sovereign selves doesn't mean that it is not real. Our job is learning how to discover this gold mine is always beneath us and within 24 hours a day. Within us, 24 hours a day. The real gold exists in knowing that you are this precious gold. You are this vast, spiritual, rich consciousness that never dies, who can manifest miracles faster than the blink of an eye. And yes, you were once long ago distracted by the impoverished consciousness of others, yet that was merely part of the fun. Now that you know the truth, the real truth, the wool cannot be completely folded over your eyes again. It may temporarily pass over, yet you can instantly shift your consciousness back into that which is real, that which never dies, and this awareness will unlock the greatest power to manifest anything that any of us want in our outer world. With true spiritual awareness, survival mode is a thing of the past. We now have the ability to consciously live free from fear and know that we can create whatever we want, anytime we want it. And when we surrender to fully embracing our most basic spiritual essence inside, we can see that we already are that which we are seeking. As spiritual beings, we were never separate from anything. Only the mind made it appear to be separate. We already are conscious manifesting beings, and this universe is our playground. So no matter what happens in the future, no matter how many times we forget, remember, and forget, and remember this information again and again and again, this awareness is eternally installed inside of us. We can deepen in this knowledge by simply living it as the truth every day from our hearts. Our job is to break free from society's unconscious laws and know that we are now a part of a group of the most powerful, conscious, manifesting beings in this universe who can attract any outcome that we want. Every moment from now on is an opportunity to truly relax deeper into this awareness with confidence. When we truly master our minds, we will master this apparently material 3D world and be completely free from any fearful need to survival and for survival again. Please do not stop looking within. Keep on realizing that you are an infinite being. Take a good long look inside at who and what it is that is eternal today. This will blast you far beyond the game of survival mentality. You have nothing to lose. What is the biggest risk that a self-realized soul has in this world? None. There is no experience that can harm that which is already beyond this body and mind. Isn't it worth the risk to explore this? We are already untouched by the seemingly negative outcomes of any risk in front of the soul. So trust you are this soul in your heart and start taking more risks. As a self-realized soul, you have nothing to lose but the ego. And this is simply an illusion of the mind anyway. To be liberated from these old patterns, we will need to take the risk of dropping our egos. There are actions we can take and words we can speak, which will represent that we are taking the risk to go beyond it. We already know what we need to do and which risks are worth taking this week that will make our hearts sing. Don't hesitate to do them all. The worst thing any of us can possibly do is procrastinate taking the risks, gifts, which risks are gifts, we are presented with, and continue playing small. Otherwise, the world has to bow down to our feet and answer our every wish. Drill these thoughts deep into your mind. Your outer world is simply a reflection of the consciousness within. Every situation is a mirror reflecting back where you are on your spiritual path. The depth and breadth of your soul's presence is measured by the level of understanding you have of your true unlimited self. It's measured by the level of understanding you have of your true unlimited self. Once you've shifted your state of consciousness towards the continuous realization of who you are, you will always be revealing how you are the conscious creator, creativity and creation of existence. With this understanding, this world has to hold you in the most exquisite cocoon of love, abundance, and connection to Source. You can dip down into the darkest trenches of suffering and pop back up to ascend into the highest vibration possible. From this divine understanding, we all can only experience an entirely new level of joy, freedom, love, trust, abundance, energy, and prosperity in our lives. Affirmations are probably one of the most powerful reminders for us to get into a powerful habit. such as I am always loved, held, and provided for by this universe on every level. I am always loved, held, and provided for by the universe, this universe, on every level. Always stop the mind immediately in its tracks whenever it gets fearful, worried, or concerned about surviving in this world. Repeat this mantra in your mind in its place and feel it seeping into your bones. I am always provided for by the universe on every level. The faster we can catch the mind whenever it drops into a fearful survival mode, the easier it becomes to transcend the pattern. By focusing only on these feelings of being provided for, our abundance vibration will grow and we will only manifest the situation to us. I bathe all day in feelings of gratitude. I bathe all day in feelings of gratitude. Whenever we start going into survival mode, refocus on gratitude and you'll begin feeling more liberated to receive anything you want in your world. It is impossible to worry about surviving when you are in the healing energy of gratitude. Gratitude is one of the most powerful and transformational energies on this planet. Gratitude is that conscious vehicle that allows us to tap into our own abundance consciousness and creative energy. When we embrace gratitude as a way of being, we naturally know the truth of our soul's path and mission, and that we are already deeply and eternally loved with everything we need. From this place, we then become a massive magnet for attracting even more success, love, abundance, and divine beings into our lives. I have the firm realization that I am a powerful, conscious creator. I have the firm realization that I am a powerful, conscious creator. As we go through our days this week, repeat to yourself one or all of these statements, these affirmations. I am a conscious and powerful creator in my world. I am always manifesting what I most desire. Everything is perfect in my world. Just keep chanting this mind-altering mantra deeply and slowly, and your mind-body will eventually become programmed with this truth. It may take a few days or weeks, depending on your ulterior beliefs. Yet soon, you will deeply know in your heart of hearts that you are consciously manifesting whatever you want in each moment. We are truly that powerful. Now, the ego mind will sit there and try to make you feel, oh, this is a waste of time, and I don't have time to do this, and oh, it doesn't work anyway. Right? That's the ego mind, keeping you out of the now and into yesterday or tomorrow. That's how it runs you. Now, you might want to give it a go the next 7 days of your life. Notice which thoughts and actions come from a place of fear-based survival and which come from trust, love, and abundance. Notice the most common thoughts you have in your normal day when and where you are plagued by survival thinking. Here's an example. If your biggest fear is about your career, you may be viewing your career as a way of surviving instead of as an avenue for thriving and creatively expressing yourself in this life. You might catch yourself saying, which we all have probably, most likely, I have to go to work today so that I can pay the mortgage. If you say this, reframe that thought by canceling it out in your mind. Throw it into an incinerator and replace it with the thought and feeling. I get used to my mind and my creativity to consciously create more love, joy, and abundance in my life. Huge difference. Take out a piece of paper. Write down all the survival thoughts that you normally have. Write down the new affirmation next to it. You're going to be amazed at how much more life energy you feel inside by simply shifting your thinking patterns and creating more awareness around these old limiting mindsets. Before we go to bed each night this week, spend a few minutes focusing on what you are grateful for in your life. This will help you access the most powerful manifesting energy inside you. Anytime during the day, let yourself be spontaneously grateful for how this universe has deeply and eternally loved you. You will be sending out a high vibrational energy that starts magnetizing even more abundance into your life and eliminates survival thinking from your consciousness. Whenever you are bathing in the energy of gratitude, you have full access to a deeper knowingness that you are abundant, loved, and free. There is no way that thoughts of surviving through life can exist. They all magically disappear. So we know, as silly as it sounds to the ego mind, the way we currently process through this life is actually the opposite of abundance. The way we process through this life is actually the opposite of abundance, of an abundant life, of gratitude, of happiness, of joy, of bliss. And isn't it ironic that everything we pursue outside of ourselves in the material physical world is within us? The discovery is within us, the soul, and the God within the soul. And it's a choice that any of us make. There's so many of us that are in survival mode, worrying, stressing, and fearing each day that we exist in these bodies. Now understand that the body is what worries, stresses, and fears in the ego mind. What happens to us is that we get so attached to the body through external influences as the body grows that we believe we're the body. Now one can say, well, I know I'm not the body, I am the God. I am the soul within the God within the soul body. It's in the body. You can say that, but where is it coming from? Is it coming from the ego mind or the heart? There is something extremely magical happening right now in this very moment of our lives. We may not be aware of it or care to take notice, yet it is here. And it continues to go on being magical all the time. It happens so frequently that it can seem normal, obvious, typical, which is why we might tend to overlook it every day. Yet, truly, this magical thing is more amazing than the mind can fully believe or comprehend. This miraculous thing I'm talking about is your life. And it is happening inside of us all, through us all, to us all, and for us all right now. There is a perpetual creation of the experience of you occurring, perpetually, just for you to enjoy you. There's not much you can do about it. The best thing to do is to just let go and completely surrender yourself to the experience. And on a physical level, there are millions of, and I'll go billions upon countless billions of miniature life-giving processes happening inside our bodies right now. There are energies that are keeping our heart beating, our lungs breathing, our hair growing, our teeth from decay, and allowing our heart to relax and sleep tonight. Our diaphragm is pulling in a continual flow of oxygenating energy into our lungs while our bodies are pumping blood to trillions of cells, lovingly transporting the great river of life-giving energy to every cell throughout our bodies. And in this moment, as we are sitting here listening in this meditation and absorbing, billions of brain cells are being engaged in understanding these concepts. It is only in this now moment that we can find this miraculous experience called life and discover where it's coming from. When we stop to appreciate all of the wonderful things that are occurring in our lives, this highly sensitive extrasensory perception begins opening within us. We begin feeling and sensing the divinity that is behind every breath and heartbeat. This sweet sensitivity increases to the point where we can feel the vibrant matrix of intelligence that is weaving itself through all thoughts and things. It is absolutely amazing what a little appreciation for life can open up in us. When we start to be grateful for all the little things that we usually take for granted, we can begin to see, smell, taste, and hear the deeper meaning of our existence. It becomes possible to actually know on a spiritual level why we are here and what is the true meaning of our lives. We see that everything that is happening around us is actually a miracle because we realize that we also are a miracle. Perhaps one of the greatest gifts we can give ourselves is the experience of conscious awareness. We can watch the mind think, perceive, and make up all sorts of explanations about ourselves and our lives. We can see that when we make the slightest, most subtle shift in our perception of reality, our entire attitude and exploration of life changes. Our bodies respond differently to stimuli that it once believed was threatening. And we find an entirely new reason for being alive. The mind is the greatest inventor of lie. It never actually sees the truth in all its perfection. It can only see fragments of the truth, catch a glimpse of it here and there, and try to capture it with some fixed yet random creative expression. It is always making up stories about other people, the world, yourself, and the way that life is. It makes these enormous, glorious assumptions to courageously capture the truth and fit it into a beautiful box that others can appreciate and praise. Yet the truth is too big for the mind to contain. The truth is everything in this universe that is here now. The mind can only hold on to two things, the past and the future. The mind cannot just be here, now, in the present. The moment the mind completely surrenders into the burning fire of the now, all grasping disappears, and all our suffering created by the mind is gone. I'll join you in the meditation, and I'll return to close us out.